Today is Thursday, Parashat Vayakhel, and this coming Shabbat has an added name to it. Usually we call the Shabbat based on the Parashat that is read, so the Shabbat would be Shabbat Vayakhel. But there is another name also added. It's called also Shabbat Shkalim. Why is it called Shabbat Shkalim? The Shabbat of the Shkalim and the shekel, of course, is that coin of money that's called shekel. And why is it called Shabbat Shkalim? Because this Shabbat, we're going to take out two Sifrei Torah. In the first Sefer Torah, we'll write Parashat Vayakhel, that has to do with the Parasha of this week. In the second Sefer Torah, we're going to read the beginning portion of Parashat Ki Tisa that has in it the commandment to give half a shekel to participate in the expenses of the Bet HaMikdash, or the Mishkan, in buying the daily sacrifices that were brought in the Mishkan or Bet HaMikdash. And every person above the age of 20, every male over 20 would have to give that half a shekel to participate in all the expenses of the Bet HaMikdash. The fiscal year of Bet HaMikdash started on the 1st of Nisan. And the monies for that year was used for all the 12 months that started on the 1st of Nisan. Well, 1 month before would be the beginning of Adar, and in this year, Adar Bet. So the Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet, which is next week, the Adar that is closest to Nisan, we already start announcing to people to please bring in your half shekel contribution so that you would be included in the service in Bet HaMikdash, and every single person has an equal share. A person who's rich cannot give more, and a person who's poor cannot give less than half a shekel. Each person had to be equal in his participation. You could say that's the sort of a precursor to the membership in a synagogue, where everybody is expected to share in the expenses of the synagogue, which is a mikdash me'at, like a Bet HaMikdash. But at the time of Bet HaMikdash, they started announcing before Rosh Chodesh Adar, which would be the Shabbat, now is the time to bring in your half a shekel to participate in the great merit of the service that is done in Bet HaMikdash daily. Each person has a share in it. But the question could be asked, why is it half a shekel and not a full shekel? And that to indicate and deliver a message that every single Jew is not whole until he comes together with other fellow Jews as members of a community. A person really gains significance and meaning when he joins with others. And that's why you bring half a shekel. That's one explanation. There's another reason that is brought also by the sages. The truma of the machatzit shekel, the donation of the half the shekel, is lechaper al nafshotechem, to atone for your souls. In other words, that any sins that a person could have done, that half a shekel is in a way atones for the person to sort of like bring healing to that fault that he did. But no matter how far a person could have gone in terms of his Judaism or in terms of his observance of mitzvot, there is always within him a certain part that is pure and pristine in a situation where even if he sinned, the neshama of that person is pure. And the neshama of that person, even if a person would have sinned, there is always a certain aspect of it that stays always clean and pure. And therefore, when you bring a donation to atone, it's not for the whole being of the person. It's only for part of the person, and that's why it's half a shekel and not a complete shekel. These are some of the ideas associated with why half a shekel, but the concept is to give machatzit shekel. Nowadays, of course, we don't have Bet HaMikdash. We don't have the obligation to give machatzit shekel, but we have a custom during this period before the holiday of Purim, to give a donation zecher lemachatzit shekel, as a remembrance to machatzit shekel, because as our sages say, those half shekels that we gave, starting already in the desert, is what was the counter. What countered the coins of the gold coins that Haman wanted to give to Achashverosh to get the right to harm the Jews. Our half shekels preceded his donation to the coffers of Achashverosh to be allowed to harm the Jews. Our half shekels preceded that, and therefore in anticipation of Purim, also there is a custom to give some amount of money in remembrance of Machatzit shekel, that it should be a protection for Am Yisrael. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.